Well, on the very relevant topic of apocalyptic events, I got an analog horror here that I think you guys are really going to savor. The name of the series is Zetacodine, and well, it takes place over on the June's Media channel. Big spoiler alert, yes, it's about a zombie apocalypse, but not in the way that you'd expect. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves, shall we? Allow me to introduce you to Zetacodine. That really sounded like I was trying to sell you something. No, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. Now, the first episode of the series dives straight into the chaos, okay? Seatbelts fully unbuckled. An officer can be heard repeatedly begging for backup, and I must add, apart from the sounds of screaming in the background, his voice is very calm in contrast, and I just find that very funny for some reason.
Station Delta to HQ. This is Officer White. We are at ground zero of the Zetacodine epidemic in the city, requesting backup. I repeat, we need backup. We have 12 men down. The base has been overcome by fighters.
Guys, we need backup. Come on. Now, what you might have gathered from that clip is that the officer called the zombies biters. So I know that's what this series refers them to for the most part, but I'm just gonna call them zombies because I don't have the energy. I don't have it. I have none left. Now, and I know what you guys are probably thinking right now, and yes, I was skeptical of the series 2 in the very beginning, but I promise you it gets much better, okay, towards the middle. Why are you running away? Stop, come back, please. The following was filmed at the height at Zetacodine lockdown, and then here they just show a few clips of the ground view from a helicopter, and then the first person perspective of people being chased down by zombies. The second episode is a very classic PSA announcement style video, staying true to the analog horror genre, of course. I mean, there needs to be at least one per series, otherwise I wouldn't be able to talk about it. I'm sorry, that's just the law of the land, people. The PSA reveals to us that a highly addictive drug known as Zetacodine has been circulating around and is a new compound of xylazine. If you guys don't know, xylazine is it's oftentimes used alongside, it's often used alongside that, and it can oftentimes be fatal. I know, big shocker. Would have never guessed. So just think of Zetacodine as a much, much worse version of that. Now, here the series shows a before and after image of a supposed victim of Zetacodine, and yes, they do use real mugshot photos, by the way. I don't want to get too deep into the actual backstory behind these two pictures, lest I be sent to the demonetization realm, but it is pretty tragic, to say the least, if any of you happen to look it up. And you guessed it, the drug causes literal brain rot, and the user of the substance returns to a primal state and becomes violent. Signs of Zetacodine addiction include large, dead eyes, pale and droopy skin, rotting wounds, why are you looking at me like that? Sores and boils, unresponsive to interaction, slow movement or limping, sickly appearance, missing teeth, and aggression. And if you thought about trying to save a Zetacodine addict, don't even bother, okay? It's already too late. An emergency broadcast intercepts the recording, alerting people that a lockdown will start October 26, 1987, and the military will begin to clear the city of addicts. In the meantime, locals are advised to board up their homes and stock up with food and water. Do not open doors no matter how desperate they sound, and don't make noises as they will hear you. This message hails all the way from the CDA, and don't you worry, that name will be coming up again later in the worst way possible. The third episode in the series advertises a product that is supposed to act as an immunization against the Zeta boys. It's a nasal spray. You just gotta snort that shit for real. As long as you use it within 2 hours of being bitten by a zombie, you should be fine. After that, well, you might just start looking a little bit more like me, shall we say. You also can't start using Zetaway on a person already addicted to the substance, as it will immediately unalive them. Now, interestingly, throughout this series, it's carefully described Zetacodine addicts as pests, parasites, if you will. And the end of this advertisement even encourages people to purify their genes. Very dystopian and perhaps symbolic. Like Chad is Is this social commentary? In the 4th episode, we get introduced to an independent reporter by the name of Jack Holliday. This is the person that Alex Jones thinks he is, by the way. He reveals that Zetacodine is usually taken... No, I'll give you a moment. I'll wait. Okay. He reveals that Zetacodine is usually taken by injecting into the gums, which is why a single bite is enough to infect someone, mainly via tooth decay, which leaves residue on the user's teeth. Its ease of accessibility and the high poverty rate in the city led to its fast spread. 1,200 attacks were reported in the city, and hospitals were overridden. The Zetaway product, produced by the CDA, helped those with minor withdrawal symptoms, but immediately unalived heavy addicts. With victims being cured and so many addicts failing to survive, a lockdown was soon underway. Now, Jack Holliday believes that the CDA are the ones behind the epidemic, as right before the epidemic started, the CDA lost a massive shipment of xylazine near the city. I'm just visualizing a bunch of people running off into the night with massive bags of or whatever the fuck draped over their shoulders, and they're just carrying it around like a Santa's bag of goodies or whatever. That's so majestical, to be honest. It's cute. It's sweet. Unsurprisingly, the CEO of the CDA, David Lockhart, declined to comment on the incident. Tomorrow, Jack Holliday plans to investigate the outside world himself and return with his findings. All right, before we continue, I just want to give y'all the chance to bet on how quickly this guy is just gonna, is gonna croak. Okay, is it gonna be in the next episode, or is it gonna be later on in the series? Just start leaving your bets down below in the comments section. If you guys win, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you a pat on the shoulder. I'm gonna go, good job. Yeah, good job, buddy. Good job. Are you proud of yourself? Good. Great job. He ends the video with the very typical melodramatic statement of, if you see this tape, I either didn't make it or I was right. The last part doesn't really make sense to me though. Like if you didn't make it, then who the hell is going to be uploading this tape? Your dog or something? Like, make it make sense. Now, this is the 5th episode, and yeah, okay, this is your brain on drugs. Okay, yeah, I get it. But what if that's my brain right now? Yeah? What if I already beat you to it? This video shows us the progression of a Zetacodine addict, and I assure you, it doesn't look pretty.
Stage 1. Before Zetacodine. Stage 2. Stumbler. Aggression. Lowered coordination. Minor confusion and delirium. Stage 3. Biter. Peak aggression. Mind and personality are gone. Tissue rots. Regression to primal instincts.
Motherfuckers when people forget about them. And look, this is what your brain looked like on Zip Zap. Before, brain got no electricity, and then after, brain colorful. Brain electric. Brain got flashing lights. I want my brain to look just like that one, okay? But it's not trendy enough, guys. Womp womp. The 6th episode shows us where our favorite guy ended up. He reveals that he did, in fact, at least make it about 2 blocks down the street from where he lives, so that is impressive. And again, all of you guys that thought he was going to, get got in the next episode, no pats on the back from me. But to everyone that did get it right, he reveals that the city is mostly empty except for the plague of Zetacodine victims, which is strange because the US military said that they were wiping them out, right? More disturbingly, there is no military presence anywhere. They seemingly just left everyone to their own devices. He reveals that he's waited 4 months already and is almost out of food, so it seems like the military just went on a little vacay. As he's walking around, he discovers that there are CDA trucks there rather than the military. Yeah, people are literally gonna watch this and think that the CDA equates to the CDC somehow, and I'm sorry, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that to happen. Not right now. Our boy is getting mad, okay? He's fucking pissed. And all he needs is proof that the CDA started this mess. The dude films a little walking tour until he runs into a Zeta boy. And I'm sorry, I really don't know what he thought he was gonna accomplish just by walking around with a camera on like a selfie stick, like a GoPro or something. Like, what did you think was going to happen? I'm genuinely curious. But again, I mean, you gotta respect the hustle. The 7th episode shows body cam footage found on the body of an unalive US Army soldier. Shortly after the footage was taken, the Army retreated, and as you can see based on the footage on the screen here, it's not looking too good. I will say though, if this was supposed to be body cam footage, then how the hell did they get infrared helicopter cam footage mixed in there? Like, I'm just curious. I want to know. Well, you guessed it, in the helicopter footage, some dude gets surrounded and then ripped apart very casually. The next episode, y'all are just gonna have to overlook the voice acting for the entirety of this series, okay? Because if you're anything like me, then you're not going to take it seriously. It's a still shot of someone's living room, and we can hear dialogue from the people inside. A man calmly states that they should be stockpiled for at least a month, and this is where he starts to sound very, very anime, okay? He starts to sound all like, we will get through this, guys, together. It's not what he sounded like, by the way. That was my Ash Ketchup voice. I'm just gonna play a clip here so that you guys will know what I'm talking about and so that I don't sound crazy.
You guys need to start eating less. At this rate, we'll be out of food in a couple weeks.
Are you seriously blaming me and the kids? I can't believe you right now.
No, it's not like that.
Just what? This is ridiculous, Josh.
This is ridiculous, Josh. The rest of the video contains Josh's wife getting annoyed about the fact that he keeps filming, and understandably so. Like, what the fuck, Josh? And she feels like Josh is acting paranoid. Immediately in the next clip, Josh proves that he's acting paranoid and decides to go outside and look for food. Like that ever ends well. So old boy goes outside and says, verbatim,
Where are the military blockades?
Me when I'm looking for the military blockades. He returns home to let his family know that the military retreated and they'll be leaving the city to go somewhere safe. While they're driving, again calm as ever, the car starts to break down. After pulling over to the side of the road, they spot someone in the distance. He suggests that maybe they can help, and the whole time while this guy is very obviously walking sketchy as fuck, this is how Josh chooses to handle the situation.
Sir? Sir?
Oh, well, everybody got. Aren't you sad now? Oh yeah, your boy Jack Holiday is back. And this ain't Christmas. He starts to film a, quote, well-known home of an infamous street gang in the area. Like any self-respecting person in this situation would do, he casually lets himself in. Oh, and would you look at that, there just so happens to be a body perfectly placed in a seated position. I shit you not, Jack Holiday touches this guy's earlobe once and he's like, yep, I diagnosed this guy as not alive. The next part is just comedic genius right here, guys. Let me just play it out for you for a sec.
Xylazine. They funneled it into the city. I knew it. They funneled the xylazine into the city. It all makes sense now. I finally have proof of their involvement. I just need to...
Guys, I found the Krabby Patty's secret formula, and all I have to do now is... Gulp! Uh-oh! And now, we got another analog horror essential. The training tape. You guessed it. Good job. You want another pat on the shoulder? No, you don't want me to touch you anymore. Okay, I get it. Now this one is for the CDA, and this is, I'm gonna be real with you, this is like some anime villain shit right here. But as the narrator explains what the purpose of the CDA is, this happens.
The purpose of the CDA is to make sure these substances are shipped correctly and don't get into the wrong hands.
Dang, they're really telling us what their super evil, diabolical plan is. I mean, they're just laying it out in the open for us. Good thing people would never be this gullible in real life and still want to work for them. Now, this video is riddled with super not hidden messages, like this stock footage of homeless people, and never talk about Zetacodine, and most important of all,
Keep in mind that whatever you do not enter meeting room B.
yeah, whatever you do, guys, don't go into this super secret room that we were sure to highlight and name in this video. And we even put a big green light directly over it so you guys don't go inside, okay? Remember that. Green is for stop, not go. For shits and giggles, I'm gonna play this super villain dialogue from Lockhart himself, because like it or not, this series is literally the peak of comedic genius, and I love it.
Sir Lockhart, the first case of Zetacodine outside the city has been reported.
What? It was never meant to get that far. Why can't the damned army do their job?
I'm sorry, sir.
They were supposed to wipe that city off the map. Now it's far too late. Soon the pandemic will go nationwide. There's nothing we can do to stop it. Unless...
Sir, I hope you're not suggesting...
What else are we supposed to do? The Zetaway didn't work. The lockdown failed. There's no other way to stop this pandemic. We need to execute Plan C.
Very well, sir. I hope you're right.
Exterminate the entire city. Whatever you say, boss. And in the final part of the series, it is revealed to us that Jack Holliday, real name John Hollingsworth, was found unalive in his home from self-deletion. Well, you guessed it, the Zeta boys are on the move and they are spreading fast, okay? So I guess you really want to know what Plan C is, huh? You really want to know the answer to that. Well, according to this emergency broadcast, multiple nuclear strikes were detected across the United States, which is so fucking funny. God, that is hilarious, genuinely. What? A disease that hasn't fully spread yet is riddling our population? There's only one way to solve this. And the video ends with the entire country exploding. The end! So what do I think about this, huh? What are the key takeaways? And more importantly, what can we learn from this? Well, I want to start on the positives, so let's talk about what I like so far. I really think that this is an interesting concept for a zombie apocalypse. It's actually somewhat realistic enough to where I can actually see myself buying into the concept more. I mean, I'm no Dr. Doofenshmirtz, but I can totally get down with a bunch of people shooting chemicals of mass destruction into their gums and getting funky with it. I think the series does a really good job of explaining that in a way that didn't feel lazy. Because some analog horrors that I've seen in the past tend to brush over details like that, and it just leaves a lot of plot holes, too many for me. So I appreciate that this is actually something that the creators took into consideration when writing this series out. That is really a step in the right direction of actually making a good series. The editing is also pretty decent for the most part. I don't really have too many complaints about that. I think they did the best they could with what they had. I don't think you need to have a blockbuster budget to make something that's actually palatable. You just need decent writing, storytelling, and voice acting if needed. That is where I'm going to get into my next point. The voice acting was subpar, to say the least, and I'd rather not even call it voice acting at all, as it was very obviously AI generated for the most part. But it was so funny to the point that I actually kind of enjoyed it. It's like the same feeling you get when watching The Room or any one of Neil Breen's movies. I know it likely wasn't intentional, but the fact that the series literally ends with the evil mastermind villain blowing the entire country up is comical in ways that shouldn't be possible, okay? And for that reason, this series needs to be protected at all costs, I swear to God. Does it get extremely tropey at certain points? Absolutely. Is the overuse of stock footage a bit tiresome at times? Absolutely. But is the concept still there? Absolutely. And I think with the right tweaks, this concept really does have a lot of potential. Either way, I had a lot of fun with this one, even if it was for all the wrong reasons. But in all seriousness, the series got me. I'm not gonna lie, I got gotten. It had a fairly mediocre start to it in the beginning. It started picking up the pace towards the middle, and then it just lost me completely at the end. But not entirely in bad ways, as you saw earlier. I did have my shits and giggles. I think it just needed a little bit more of that special sauce mixed in there, okay? They need a little bit more of that Raising Cane's sauce. I've never had Raising Cane's, by the way. I just lied to you. I lied to you right then. I can't be trusted. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's a real problem. I need to work on it. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, and another thing too, the whole concept with Zetaway, I feel like they could have gone a little bit further with that. I just feel like that could have led somewhere a little bit more interesting than just, oh yes, it works completely fine except for when you're already addicted to the drug. Like, I know there was some implied corruption there. I know the implication was they were purposefully trying to exterminate people that are addicted to the substance, but I would have liked it if it had more negative repercussions too. Like, instead of it unaliving you if you're already an addict, what if it makes the mutations worse? What if it turns you into some giga zombie or something? I don't know. I feel like they could have gone somewhere a little bit more interesting than just, oh, we're trying to go wipe out the perceived threat. Because, I mean, to be honest, isn't that the point of every zombie movie or TV show? Aren't they all just trying to wipe out the perceived threat at the end of the day? I mean, what the hell are you honestly gonna do at that point? If there's no cure, what the hell are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? I'm just saying, I wish they did something a little bit more special with that. But, well, anyways, that's all I have for you guys for this week. Tune in for the next video where I drink an entire bowl of Crisco oil in under 30 seconds. You guys are really gonna stick around for this one. I lied to you guys again. Thanks for watching.